Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beat.
I believe that somebody my niece, just like they her mother.
A newly uncovered video of Whitney Houston, allegedly recorded just hours before her untimely passing, has set the internet ablaze. The footage, grainy yet undeniably haunting, shows Whitney in a dimly lit hotel hallway. Her iconic voice barely above a whisper, she appears distracted, clutching a small object in her hand. Was it a phone? A note? A cry for help disguised behind the facade of her usual grace? While some claim she looked serene, others argue her eyes tell a different story. One of fear, exhaustion, and perhaps even awareness of an impending tragedy. The video has reignited speculation, dragging the names of industry titans like Clive Davis and Ray J back into the spotlight. Could this clip hold the answers we've all been searching for, or is it merely another piece to the complex puzzle of Whitney's final moments?
Strictly for the purposes of financial gain for those who have access to her estate, including Clive Davis.
Including Clive Davis.
We can't ignore the timing of this discovery. It's as if Whitney herself is speaking to us from beyond, begging us to take a closer look. And we are. Fans, investigators, and conspiracy theorists alike are dissecting every second of the footage. Some claim her body language is screaming for help. Others point to the peculiar details surrounding her demise at the Beverly Hilton, a luxurious hotel that on that fateful night turned into the epicenter of one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. The whispers of foul play and industry betrayal have never truly faded, but this video has reignited them with a vengeance.
Located her body inside this hotel. So far, police and the coroner are refusing to offer details about what may have caused her tragic.
Then there's Ray J, the last known person to have seen Whitney alive. His role in her final hours remains one of the most disturbing threads in this tangled web. Multiple insiders have alleged that Ray J, far from being the innocent bystander he portrays himself as, was deeply entwined in Whitney's struggles. One particularly explosive claim suggests that he facilitated access to substances that had long plagued her life. Even more damning, a resurfaced interview shows Ray J bragging about his influence over Whitney, hinting at a level of control that now feels chilling in hindsight. Was he a devoted confidant or a cunning opportunist playing a dangerous game?
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
The allegations don't stop there. A source close to the investigation has suggested that Ray J may have allowed an unsavory individual into Whitney's hotel room that night, someone who had no business being there. If true, this revelation could shatter the carefully curated narratives surrounding her demise. Was Ray J merely a pawn, manipulated by forces far more powerful than himself? Or was he an active participant in a larger, more sinister plot? Either way, his actions, or inactions, make him a key figure in this dark saga. And speaking of powerful forces, we can't overlook Clive Davis. The legendary music mogul, who was both Whitney's mentor and one of her closest confidants, has long been a polarizing figure. On the very night of her passing, as her lifeless body lay just floors above, Clive famously went ahead with his annual Grammy party. The scene was surreal, Hollywood's elite sipping sparkling juice while the world mourned one of its brightest stars. Was this a tribute to her legacy, as Clive later claimed, or was it something far more calculated, a grotesque display of detachment, a deliberate distraction? Some have even speculated that Clive's insistence on continuing the party was a move to protect certain secrets. Secrets he couldn't afford to let slip.
And her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobby Christina was present for some of that fight.
Let's not forget the context. Whitney's relationship with Clive wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. He discovered her, molded her career, and stood by her during some of her darkest moments. But was their connection as wholesome as it seemed? Recent allegations have cast a shadow over Clive's reputation, with claims that he wielded immense control over Whitney's life and career. Could this control have extended into her final hours? Was there something or someone Clive needed to silence that night? The questions are endless, and the answers remain maddeningly out of reach.
At 3:55 p.m. this afternoon, Whitney Houston was pronounced at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
Adding fuel to the fire are the eerie parallels between Whitney's demise and that of her daughter Bobby Christina just 3 years later. Both women were found unresponsive in bathtubs under circumstances that defy explanation. The sheer improbability of these events happening by chance has led many to believe there's a darker force at play. Some have even gone so far as to accuse Clive of orchestrating these tragedies, claiming he benefited from their untimely departures in ways that are too chilling to articulate. While these allegations remain speculative, the timing and similarities are impossible to ignore.
I believe that there are several people that wanted Bobby Christina, but I think the purpose of her was to gain full access to Whitney Houston's estate.
And then there's Jaguar Wright. The outspoken singer has never been one to shy away from controversy, and her recent claims about Clive Davis are nothing short of explosive. In a viral video, Jaguar alleges that Clive was not only complicit in Whitney's struggles, but actively contributed to them. She goes further, accusing him of being part of a shadowy network that preys on vulnerable artists. According to Jaguar, Whitney and even Bobby Christina were victims of a calculated scheme designed to control and exploit them. While skeptics dismiss her claims as baseless, others argue that Jaguar's insights align disturbingly well with the timeline of events.
With no training in music,
None.
did you think you'd be good at this?
I never thought I would have a musical ear. I never thought I'd have a natural gift.
As we delve deeper, we can't help but return to that infamous Grammy party. The image of Clive, flanked by Hollywood royalty, raising a glass in celebration while Whitney's body lay cold and lifeless, is seared into our collective memory. It's a moment that encapsulates the ruthlessness of an industry where the show must go on no matter the cost. But what was Clive really celebrating that night? Was it Whitney's legacy, or was it the successful execution of a plan years in the making? And if so, what exactly was that plan? Was it about money, power, control, or something even more sinister?
That I have a very special connection with artists, with music. I certainly know I had it with him.
These questions bring us back to the newly surfaced footage. If Whitney was aware of the danger surrounding her, could this video be her way of sounding the alarm? Was she trying to leave behind a clue, a final plea for justice? Or was she simply a woman battling her demons, unaware that her time was running out? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: this video has shattered the narrative we've been fed for over a decade. It's a reminder that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, always has a way of coming to light.
Never apparent to me. Any meeting I had with her, any interchange I had with her, she was on top of.
But as the whispers grow louder and the spotlight shifts to Clive Davis and Ray J, we're left with even more questions. What really happened in those final hours at the Beverly Hilton? What secrets were hidden in that hotel room? And most importantly, how far would the powerful players in Whitney's life go to protect themselves?
She just said she was in denial on that occasion. And she said it's not as serious as you make out.
But what if Whitney Houston's demise wasn't just a tragic accident or the result of her struggles? What if it was something far darker, carefully orchestrated by the very people she trusted most? Jaguar Wright, an outspoken artist who's never shied away from exposing industry secrets, has made a jaw-dropping claim. Whitney uncovered millions of dollars missing from her earnings right before her untimely passing. According to Wright, Whitney was planning to leave her label, and not just quietly walk away, but to expose the financial discrepancies and take her power back. If true, this revelation would have sent shockwaves through the music industry and put Clive Davis, her longtime mentor and record executive, in an extremely compromising position. Could this financial discovery have been the final straw? It was Whitney's silence before she could blow the whistle.
Going through some things of adversity and getting through it was the...
And here's where things get even murkier. For years, there's been speculation about demise clauses in celebrity contracts. Insurance policies that pay out staggering sums of money to companies when a star passes away. If these rumors hold any truth, Whitney's passing may not have just been a personal or public loss. It may have been a financial windfall for those who stood to gain. The timing is what raises eyebrows. Clive Davis's empire reportedly thrived in the aftermath of Whitney's loss, with her catalog sales and posthumous projects generating immense revenue. Was this simply the unfortunate reality of business, or was it part of a calculated plan to profit from her legacy? The chilling idea that Whitney's demise was as profitable as it was heartbreaking is one that refuses to fade from public speculation.
Did you at any stage think I may never sing again?
I never thought I wouldn't, I couldn't. I just didn't want to.
The story becomes even more unsettling when we consider the whispers of secret recordings and vaults allegedly kept by Clive Davis. Industry insiders have long speculated that Davis maintained a private archive of sensitive materials, ranging from unreleased tracks to footage and documents that could tarnish the reputations of some of the biggest names in music. Could Whitney's financial discovery have led her to uncover something far bigger than missing earnings? Was there evidence of exploitation, manipulation, or even coercion hidden in those vaults? If so, it would explain why she suddenly became a liability to the very people who once celebrated her as their crown jewel. It's no wonder some believe the stakes surrounding Whitney's demise were higher than any of us could have imagined. What's more, Whitney's escalating demands to regain creative and financial control of her career seem to have rattled those around her. Friends close to the singer have hinted that she was planning a major comeback, one that wouldn't just restore her artistic credibility, but also allow her to renegotiate her power within the industry. She was reportedly in talks to release new music independently, cutting out the middlemen, but profited off her for years. This move would have been groundbreaking but also deeply threatening to the status quo. If Whitney succeeded, it could have set a precedent for other artists to reclaim their autonomy. Was it this bold ambition that put her in harm's way, raising the stakes for those who stood to lose the most?
I had lived a life of fame and fortune and being in the, tabloids all the time.
And then there's the shadowy figure of Pat Houston, Whitney's sister-in-law and manager, whose role in the singer's final years has raised more than a few eyebrows. Pat was one of the closest people to Whitney at the time of her passing, yet her actions have often been criticized as opportunistic. From her involvement in posthumous projects to her handling of Bobby Christina's estate, Pat's decisions have fueled speculation about her true motivation. Some have even alleged that she played a part in steering Whitney towards circumstances that made her vulnerable in her final days. While these claims remain unproven, they add another layer of complexity to an already tangled web of relationships. Was Pat a protector, or was she another player in a dangerous game of power and control?
I want the world to know that Bobby Christina did not from the bathtub incident. That's not what Bobby Christina.
What Bobby Christina?
Bobby Christina was starved to.
And then, just 3 years later, tragedy struck again. Bobby Christina, Whitney's only daughter, was found unconscious in a bathtub, the same haunting detail as her mother's final moments. How could two women from the same family meet such eerily similar fates? Bobby Brown's sister, Leola, has been vocal about her suspicions, claiming that both Whitney and Bobby Christina were victims of foul play. According to Leola, the connections are more than just coincidence. They are a sinister pattern. She believes Bobby Christina inherited more than just her mother's talent and wealth. She inherited Whitney's enemies. Was Bobby Christina targeted to ensure that whatever secrets Whitney may have uncovered would remain buried forever? The speculation is as gut-wrenching as it is terrifying.
Young man who swears to God that he loves my niece, but yet you drag her up the steps, you pull her by her hair. You pull her by her hair and you punch her in the face and you knock 2 of her teeth out of her mouth.
What's even more tragic is the picture of Bobby Christina as a young woman caught in a web of deceit, danger, and control. She was only 18 when her mother passed, thrust into the harsh glare of the spotlight with no one to truly protect her. Her relationship with Nick Gordon, who was later accused of being abusive and controlling, only deepened the sense of isolation and vulnerability. Friends and family have recounted how Bobby Christina struggled to cope with the weight of her mother's legacy and the whispers of conspiracy surrounding her demise. Was she ever truly safe? Or was she doomed from the moment she became the sole heir to Whitney's fortune and, perhaps, her unfinished battles? And then there's the final mysterious piece of this puzzle, the note. Hours before her demise, Whitney Houston handed a folded piece of paper to singer Brandy during a chance encounter. To this day, the contents of that note remain a tightly guarded secret. Brandy has never revealed what was written, despite mounting public curiosity and pressure. Was it a goodbye letter? A warning? Or could it be the smoking gun, the one piece of evidence that ties everything together? Some have speculated that the note contained details about the threats Whitney felt she was facing, or perhaps even a list of names she believed were conspiring against her. If so, why hasn't Brandy spoken out? Is she protecting someone, or is she afraid of the repercussions of revealing the truth?
Davis has always assumed a far more active role than most record company presidents. That's why he was a pioneer in the 60s. It's also why he has survived into the 80s.
The timing of the note's delivery is impossible to ignore. Just hours later, Whitney was gone, and the note's significance only grows with every unanswered question. Why would she choose that moment to reach out to Brandy? And what was she trying to communicate? Could this be the key to understanding the forces at play in her final hours? If so, what does it say about the people who may have been involved? And how far would they go to keep the contents of that note hidden?
Music is unique. Music is special. Music has a very individual, meaningful role in society, not only to youth.
When we connect all the dots, the missing money, the Grammy party, Ray J's suspicious behavior, Bobby Christina's tragic end, and the cryptic note, it paints a chilling picture of an industry where power and profit reign supreme, no matter the human cost. Are we looking at a series of unfortunate coincidences, or is there a larger, more sinister narrative lurking beneath the surface? And if there is, how much longer can the truth stay hidden? What do you think? Is it finally time for the mysteries surrounding Whitney Houston's demise to unravel? Or will the powerful forces behind the scenes continue to bury the evidence? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your theories. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and remember, the truth is always closer than it seems.